Hey guys, welcome to show number 1 here with Hangout with Mark. I got a question for you. Have you ever wondered what the number one area or the number one thing that most successful entrepreneurs wish they had done earlier in their career? Now I want you to hold that answer for a second, because I'm going to ask you a second question. Have you ever wondered what many of the most successful entrepreneurs attribute to one of their greatest successes and having had the knowledge to start this early? The answer, guys, it's not a trick question, but the answer is actually the same thing. And it's exactly what this episode is about. It's about building an email list. That's right, a list of subscribers, a list of people that become part of your tribe who you then can serve and provide value, and they in turn will compensate you either through likes, comments, shares, or if you have a product or service that can provide value to them, through monetary compensation. So I want to tell you guys, first off, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming on live, or whether you're on a Google, watching this on Google Plus, or you're watching it through my website, or whether you are watching this through the YouTube link. Whatever you're doing, I thank you for coming in through that. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the YouTube channel, marcgaudett.com, because what you'll do is you'll get an invite, or you'll get an email notification every week of every new episode that we're having, and we have different topics every single week. So like I said, welcome to the very first live recording of Google of my Hangout with Mark show, where we every single week we cover the full gamut. We cover the full gamut of things from your entire life and business. We could be talking about a topic that's related to health, whether that's spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical, all the way over to the specific how-tos, of how to generate an income online in your business and monetize your passion. So I'm excited to have each and every one of you here, as well as the guests that I have, who I'm going to introduce in a moment's time. But I want to talk about the tagline for this show. The real purpose and the real tagline for the show, you can't see it. Maybe it's not clear enough in the back, but that says, there's 3 words there. And really the purpose of this show is to inspire you. It's to inspire you with what's possible. And we see that through the people that I interview that have achieved success in the topic that I'm speaking about, so that you can start to formulate beliefs that allow you to achieve your goals and make it believe it's possible for you to create the business that you want. Now, we also, the second word there, so we have inspiration, and the second word is empower you. And empower you with specific actionable strategies, 1 or 2 strategies that you can leave every single Google Hangout with, so that you can apply. So you can take that inspiration and now not say, what do I do next, but now have a plan of what to do next and start applying. So that ultimately, when you combine those two, you can create a lifestyle and a business that you operate from a place of freedom, a place of passion. And when I talk about freedom, I'm not talking about working a 9-to-5 or working in a business for the sake of earning money because you have to earn the buck. I'm talking about operating from a place of where you are experiencing what it is like to be your very highest self. That's to remove the facades. That is to be able to live the life that you want. That is to be able to do what you want, when you want, serve the people that you want, contribute to the causes that you want, and ultimately be your very best self. Now, one more thing that before we jump into the show here is, a lot of you have been asking on Facebook, sometimes it's like, what does I am an abundance warrior mean? Because a lot of times I tag myself as I am an abundance warrior. Well, the reality is, so are each and every one of you watching this, because my intention is that each and every person that gets to view this video is an abundance warrior. What this is someone that is committed. I'm someone that's committed to providing living our very best life. Now, that doesn't just mean from a sense of financials. That doesn't mean just experiencing financial abundance. This means experiencing an abundance of health, an abundance of wealth, an abundance of all the experiences that we want to experience, an abundance of positive, nourishing relationships and opportunities in our life. Essentially, everything that is good for us in our life, that we are committed to experiencing that abundance. And that's really going to lead me into introducing my guest here, Saeed, who's going to give you guys a little bit more of a skinny on who he is. But when we invite these guests to the show, they're people that can help us really live and put that statement, I am an abundance warrior, into action so that we are living with integrity. And the reality is, guys, I'm telling you full transparency, this is my first video or my first live recording. I am on this journey with you. I am not saying that I am someone that has achieved tons of success. I am someone that is interviewing the people that are very successful. And sure, I've applied some strategies and I've achieved some success, but believe me, I'm on that same journey to freedom as you are. So we're going to work together and bring some people to you each and every week that can help you and me really get to that next level. So I want to go in there and talk about our very first guest here. His name is Saeed, okay? So Saeed Ritzvi is someone that I had the opportunity to speak with, probably a few weeks ago. Him and I were chatting because we were talking about this whole subject of list building. And I saw him do something very impressive online. In fact, there was a 24-hour challenge that was asking us, okay, how can you, whoever can get the most subscribers to their list will win a prize. And I thought I did pretty good one time, because I was able to get around 200 and something in about 6 hours of work. And then I looked at Saeed and he had done over 2,000 subscribers to his email list so that's 10,000 in 5 days if he wanted to, never mind 6 months, but that's in 5 days if he wanted to do that. But the reality is I was inspired and I reached out to him because I wanted to know how he did that, because I know how much of a challenge it is, someone coming new into business, someone trying to build a list of subscribers, and trying to build their business, and how it can take time to do that. So I was so inspired, and I had a conversation with him, and I said, I need to invite you to this very first show. But I want to tell you also, Saeed doesn't just specialize in building lists. Saeed specializes in that conversation in your head. You know that conversation in your head where you have limiting scripts that tell you you can't do something. You say you want to do it, but you come up with all the reasons why you can't. Well, he works with CEOs of nonprofits and for-profit organizations that allows them to actually uncover these scripts, delete and remove these scripts, and replace them with empowering scripts so that they can then execute the vision that they had set out to do. And that's going to be another key topic that we need to speak about on this call today, because the reality is this is one thing that could prevent you from building that list we've talked about and living the life of your dreams. So I'm going to go ahead. Saeed, why don't you turn on your mic, say hello, and maybe give a little bit of a deeper introduction to yourself.
Hey, Mark. Thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you to all the readers who've tuned in. So, as you mentioned, I work with the CEOs and leaders of for-profit and non-profit organizations. What we do is we create systems to tackle the limiting mindsets that we have as individuals and organizations that prevent further growth of the organization. And more recently, I've started a blog called Evolved Writing, where I, instead of focusing it on an organizational level, I try and make it more personal and individual, so that your readers can apply those same systems so that they can, to quote, level up their life.
I love it, brother. Well, thank you very much for that. So I'm gonna jump in and reintroduce the topic here, and then we're gonna get you back involved in this discussion. So everyone that's listening right now, we're gonna have an exciting discussion here. But what we're gonna talk about today, as I said, is building your list. Like if you're a new entrepreneur or someone that's been in the game for 10 years, when I say list, it's building the subscribers that become part of your tribe that you can then add value to and serve. And I want to give you a little story that's going to illustrate how important this is, because about 4 months ago or 5 months ago, oh my gosh, it's gone by. It's almost about 6 months ago. I left my job, a 6-figure income, at a technology company. And one of the things, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I got into what's called affiliate marketing. And as I got into that, I started to see all the successes of some of the top producers in the industry. And one of the things I realized very, very quickly was that, the people that were getting results, that were earning this income, whether it's 10,000 in a weekend or, financially free, they all had one thing in common, but, they promoted it as if it was something very easy for everyone to get. And it can be, but it was kind of misrepresented, because it didn't tell you exactly how they did that. They just sold the dream to you. So one of the things that I learned from that is that every single person that was really earning income online and earning income from their business, every single person had a list of subscribers. Now, some had 10,000, some had 5,000, some had 2,000, some had 20,000 and more. But they had a list of subscribers that were fully engaged and that they were communicating with on a regular basis, that know, liked, and trusted them, so that they could then actually, when there was an opportunity or a way for them to introduce a product or service that they had to offer, these things would sell like hotcakes and essentially allow them to continue to live the lifestyle that they wanted and continue to provide value to their members. So if you guys want a visual here, an email list, okay? I'm not sure how clear that is. An email list equals people that you serve, right? People that you serve, which then equals compensation for your service, okay? So this is probably the #1 most important thing that as an entrepreneur, you need to focus on, even if you don't know exactly what your offering is going to be right off the bat. And we're going to get into that. We're going to start talking about things that are going to help you get more clarity, because Saeed's an expert in this. And we're going to talk about things that will essentially allow you also to take that to the next step so that you leave with something that you can apply today. So I want to get into that first of all and talk about the first thing that's going to come up. So I've talked about how important it is for you to have an email list, right? But the reality is many of you are just starting a business. And some of you may say, well, I don't have a website, or I don't know exactly what I want to offer yet, whether it's a book, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's coaching. And so should I really start building my list? So Saeed and I are going to jump into that, but I want to go in and I want to ask Saeed first, you know, for some of his advice on dealing with clients that are coming from this place. And then we're going to jump into some strategies that he's specifically used and I've used so that you can start building your list today.
So the most common question that we see, both of us, with people who want to start their lists is that, oh, I don't have a website and it's not optimized and I don't have a product yet. So I want to mention that when I got to 2000, I didn't even have a website. So for the first 300-400 people that I had, I wrote them down on pen and paper, name and email address, name and email address. That's how I started my list. And then for the others, I just put up hosted on MailChimp, a free one, sign opt-in form with a brief introduction of what I would write about, and then a field for name, email address, submit. That's it. So I didn't even worry about getting a website up and hiring a designer, or trying to figure out which color my brand should be, and those things. These are things that just in our field we call it limiting factors, and that the mind makes up these excuses. Oh, I shouldn't start building a list today. Let's do it next week so that I have enough time to figure out what my brand should look like. But it's just these excuses that the mind wants to make to stop you from doing what is really needed to start your business, which is the list. Like you said, the most important asset that an online business has is the email list.
Absolutely, Saeed. So let me ask you a question. Maybe what's one strategy if someone's facing resistance there that they could do? What's one thing that you would suggest or give as maybe an actionable step that they could do if they're facing that resistance right now, saying, yes, Mark, yes, Saeed, I know I need to build a list, but I'm just, I don't have anything ready yet. So what can they do in their head? What's a strategy they can do that's going to allow them to take action?
So I think the first thing to do is to approach 5 people that you know, whether it's family or friends or whoever, and tell them, be honest, tell them, look, I don't have a website yet, but I'm going to send out, and you need to craft this for your own business. But for example, I'm going to send out weekly posts about personal productivity. Do you want in? And you'll notice that most of the people will say yes. They don't care that you don't have a website. They don't care that you don't already have an email list. You were honest with them and they still say yes. So this will show you that you don't need to have a big flashy website to get people to sign up,
I love it, brother. Exactly. Because, one of the things that I'll say is I did a similar strategy. In fact, some of the people watching this webinar now have actually subscribed to my list through the same method. I mean, I did not have my website just went live yesterday. Literally, my website went live yesterday. It was being worked on. I didn't have a website, and I didn't even have a landing page yet for that website. I was focusing on other offers. But what I did is I went on my Facebook and I said, well, I don't even know exactly what I want my website to be about, but I know what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about health. I'm passionate about mindset. I'm passionate about learning how to generate income online that can turn into passive income streams. And I'm passionate about talking, making videos, and speaking. So why don't I create a website, at least to start from, that when I message people, tell them, hey, you know what, I'm going to be starting a website that's going to focus on health, mindset, and opportunities to earn income online. If you're interested, provide me with your email address, and I'll add you to the list and keep you updated on my newsletter. And so it was as simple as that. I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go, but for everyone listening, if you don't have that clarity yet, just start with what the next step is. What's one thing that you're passionate about? Your website can always change, but and your audience that you're servicing can always change. But the reality is, if you don't start, you never will. And so you need to do something to put you into action so that you'll actually start moving forward, because the strategies that we give on this webinar will actually be useless if we're not already sold and sell ourselves on the reason to do this. So if you have a movement like my buddy Wayne Mullen, he has a movement called Echo Movement, and it's a free movement that's responsible for actually promoting meditation worldwide and globally. So one of the ways that he could start serving his audience more and keeping them more engaged and participating in more of the things that he does is by actually collecting their emails and maybe having a monthly or weekly newsletter that he could do. He may not even be about selling products, and not everyone's going to be about selling products, but it's another way to service your list to get more engagement. And obviously, again, build that tribe so that you can live your not just your life from a place of freedom, but whatever your mission is, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you're able to have that communication and have it effectively with people. And I just want to touch on one more thing. Some people are like, well, email doesn't work nowadays, or email, everything's about social media. Really? What did you sign up for the social media with? Your email address. Emails are not going anywhere yet, because everything has to do, anything you register with, you register with your email address. You get notifications on your email. Yes, it might come through the social media platform, but you still needed the email to sign up for the social media platform. It's very, very important. And regardless, as the statistics are showing, that this is still a very, very effective way to communicate with your people and your customers. So don't hesitate to build that list or buy into anything that's going to kind of promote any negativity and not allow you to do that. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, and I actually made a note here, is jumping right into knowing why you want to build a list. So we have an idea, right? We have an idea of something that we're passionate about, but we know that once Saeed and me give you the action steps, one of the things that's going to be important is knowing why. So are you an author that has a book that you're planning to write and published in 6 months, and you can start building your list and building the pre-launch so that when you're ready to promote your book, you actually already have a list of people that are engaged, that have seen what you're working on and part of your tribe, that you can automatically serve them with that book? Is it a public speaking course that you want to create to train people on, that you can start building your list and communicating with them, showing them your progress on this project, so when you're ready to go live, you can actually then promote that product to serve your list. So the other thing we're going to encourage you by the end of the show is to come up with something specific, something tangible that is in alignment with you, whether it's a workshop you're creating, whether it's a webinar you're promoting, whether it's a book you're writing, whether it is a public speaking course that you have, and have sort of a deadline or an idea of when you want to promote that, so that you can have a tangible reason for actually implementing the strategies we're going to give you so that you can reach your goals. But I want to go ahead and I want to jump right into the meat here. Saeed, tell us exactly how. I want everyone on this webinar to be empowered now with a specific how-to. I want you to give one strategy, or even two if you feel called to it, that is a free email strategy. So not a paid one. You and I have both used paid traffic, and that's one way to build your list. And we'll get into that in a separate webinar. But we want to talk about free strategies for all those people that don't have a budget right now for it and just want to know how they can start if they have no money. How did you build your email list from 0 to 2,000 plus subscribers in 24 hours? Saeed, we can't really hear you. No, we hear the static. There you go. That's.
Is it good now?
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great.
So what I did first was I first thought of approaching my friends and family. So the reason I did this was it's easier to ask for something, especially something as private as an email address, because these days, gone are the days when you would be happy to get hundreds of emails from Groupon and other couponing sites. These days, when you see a Groupon email, just hit spam. But these days, the inbox is a very private space, so I can't expect to go up to a stranger and then ask for the email address, although I did that. But to start with, I didn't expect that to work. So I sent out texts and WhatsApp messages to friends and family, and I made a template that I just copy pasted and just edited a bit. So it was something similar to, hey, I'm going to be sending out a weekly email about personal development and mindset. Do you want in? And then they would say yes. And then I would ask, so this is permission marketing. Then I would ask, what's your best email address? So I needed to first make sure that they're interested, and then I would ask for their email address and put it in, write it down. Simple. I didn't even have Aweber or MailChimp, no list, just plain pen and paper. I would write down the name and the email address. I did this with friends, family via text, and then I went to my Facebook list, and I have a pretty large Facebook list there. And these are just friends. This isn't a Facebook page, or it's nothing to do with the business. This is my personal Facebook page. And I went one by one. I started from A all the way to Z, and I sent them messages. So sometimes if it was someone who was more of an acquaintance, I would say, hey, what's up? What you doing these days? So it doesn't come out of the blue. And then once we had somewhat of a contact and relationship established, I would send them the same template. And then I got about 350 email addresses, just asking my friends and family. And it went from 0 to 350 in about 3 hours. Yeah. So I think the first thing that I would suggest to people is to approach their friends and family, who are much more supportive than you think.
I love it. Yeah, and that's a great way to start, right? I mean, I think that you and I did the first strategy really good. I went on my Facebook, my social media, and I literally was asking people that I thought would be interested in that sphere. And for the most part, people were very receptive. Like I said, I had it about 200 or so in about 4 to 6 hours, and I just did it one day as a test. And that's one way to start giving you confidence and start building your list. In fact, a lot of successful people started their list by actually doing something very similar. It was friends and families, and then it kind of grew out from there because they helped you build your list. Now I'm going to give everyone another strategy that I found really super helpful, and this one I find so effective. This one is a gold mine. So everyone, I hope you're listening, because not only is this going to help you build your list, and not only can this potentially help build your list for free, but this is going to allow you to leverage the power of other people's lists. We call that OPL, okay? OPL. That means other people's lists. These are people that have already built a following and subscribership in a tribe on the topic that you are interested in. So for example, if you are in an make money online opportunity, one way that you could leverage other people's lists is you could go on Google, and I've told some of my friends about this. You could go on Google and you type in make money online blog, and what's going to come up is a lot of websites on that first page of Google, okay? On that first page of Google, that is going to be blogs about how to make money online. And the reason why it's good to look on the first and second page of Google is because a lot of these people already have very large lists. And what you can do is after looking at their website to see if it resonates with something similar that you offer, you can send them a contact the people on the list or contact the website owner and basically tell them that you'd like to write either an article, like guest post an article on their website because you believe it's going to add value to their audience, or maybe you have a free offer, like a free ebook or a free webinar series or free video series that would be relevant that you could offer for free to share with their list. And this would allow them to share valuable content with their list that they don't have to create. And now they're going to send that out in email to their list of whatever, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 subscribers. And now their list becomes part of your list. Now, here's the powerful thing about that. The reason why this is so powerful, this a powerful strategy, is not just because you're leveraging other people's lists. The power is in how highly targeted the list is. Because remember, these are not just your friends and family. These are people that are interested in the subject that you are offering. If it's health, if it's nutrition, and you go to a nutrition website and you get those people as part of your list, well, they're already interested in nutrition. That's why they subscribe to this person's blog. That's why they subscribe to their content, and they've already been being nurtured by this website owner, and he's already provided so much value. So they're going to be more likely to engage with you. This is one way to quickly skip the steps. I find if instead of like writing a blog post and waiting, 2 years before, your SEO shows up on the first page of Google. This is one way to leverage power right now. And let me just tell you, for people that are skeptical about that, I've also paid for paid traffic where I pay $1,000 for, 1,000 clicks, for example, or $1,000 for like 800 clicks, for example. And those are paid traffic sources, which we'll talk about on another webinar. And I'll be honest with you, the quality of people, while I did get less from going through the blog and leveraging someone else's list, these people were way more engaged than everyone I did through the paid traffic sources. So I'm not saying paid traffic sources are not good. We'll talk about those in another webinar, which can allow you to build your list and how to do it effectively. I'll get some very successful list builders that leverage paid strategies. But I just want to let you know, this is another strategy you can use that's free, that really only is going to impact your time for you to create a free offer or a free, some kind of value add blog post that you could allow them to share, that's going to allow you to start building your list. So you could do it that way as well. So those are two strategies that I would leverage. And I would even say 3 strategies, because what Saeed mentioned in his was contacting friends and family. But then what he did is actually he went to a work office after that, and he actually passed out the clipboard to other people that worked in his office. So if you're a 9-to-5er right now and you're looking to potentially start your own business, you could potentially have your own, your other colleagues at your workplace just signing up, and he built it to over 2,000. So people that are interested in what you have to offer. These are just free ways that you can leverage right now. So I want to ask you, I want to pass it back to Saeed. And Saeed, I want to ask you, first off, thank you for sharing that with us. But what's another tip you would suggest, or what's another something else that people should be aware of when they're going to build their list using these free strategies? We can't hear you, Saeed. Still. No. Now it's good.
Mark, and
hey man, we can hear you now.
All right, it should be good now. So what I was saying is something that's very important to consider here is that all the 3 strategies that we mentioned, one, approaching friends and family, whether it's through messages or WhatsApp or iMessage or Facebook, or whether it's approaching another blogger who already has a list and then sending out content to their list, or whether it's handing out a clipboard to people at your workplace. The important thing here is to be aware of the fact that you need to have some level of trust with the person who you're asking for an email address from.
Yes.
So with the first one, your friends and family already know you. So the trust is there, it's implied anyway. So you don't really need to do anything with that. With the people at your workplace, it may not be as close as your friends and family, but they still know you, they've seen you around, they know who you are, and you work together, so the trust is there. And the third one, it's because you're not sending the list a cold email. So you're sending the list. So if I would be doing this, I would approach Mark, I'd be like, hey, can I send an email, can I send this out, an email, for example, on the top 10 tips on how to build an email list, to go really meta there. So when Mark sends that out, out to his list knows that I'm not just some random guy sending out some content. You know,
Mhm.
it's like Mark has approved somewhat of the content that is being sent out. So even there, the trust is implied. It may not be as explicit, but the trust is still there. Otherwise, if there's no trust, even if a little bit, no one's going to give you your email address, which is why paid advertising is very difficult to master for beginners, because they're not able to build the trust over social media. But these are much easier tactics, you know?
That's a great point, Said, and that's so great because one of the things that I noticed from a lot of people in my circle that were using paid traffic strategies, the common thing that came up was they would say that when they paid for traffic, that their list was unresponsive. So it's absolutely right. The level of trust that you get from leveraging someone that already has a relationship with their list is going to pay off for you more in the long run. Yes, you may get less subscribers, but if you're someone that's brand new to the game, what you're looking for is engagement. Who cares if you have a list of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 subscribers, but they're not engaged and they're not doing anything. They're not part of your tribe. They're just actually costing you money in your email autoresponder. And what this is going to do is limit the actual ability for you to be successful, because what's going to happen is a lot of these people won't end up responding to you. They're not going to have a conversation with you. You have to pay for that. You have to pay for that as using an autoresponder. Such. Can you guys hear me? Could you put the mic on? Could you put your mic off? Thanks. A little bit of interference there. But what's going to help you guys as building your list is really having engaged subscribers. So I really want you to take to heart these 2 or 3 strategies that Said and I gave on this actual webinar or this hangout show, because the reality is we're not going to give you 10 or 20 different things. Why? Because you're not going to do 10 or 20 different things. We want you to do one thing and do it well so that you get results and then move to the next thing. Because if we give you 50 things, and I've seen this happen before, 10 or 15 options, I've attended other trainings from my mentors where they've given us a bunch of strategies. The reality is you won't be able to leverage that. You won't be able to, really make an impact and a dent and see which one's working. So if you're going to email, I just want to give you guys what to expect. If you're going to email these blogs, try to make like a habit of doing 10 a day or 10 a week, and then see what happens. Maybe 1 or 2 respond to you, and maybe it's only one or 2 that respond to you, and then next week maybe it's another 1 or 2 that respond to you. But as you do this, you're going to get what's called momentum, and when you have momentum, you're going to be able to continue to build your list. And once you have that solid base, you're going to be able to actually move forward in your business. So before we wrap out today and we give you your homework, I want to give Said back the microphone, and I want to ask Said, tell us what you're working on right now and how other people, everyone that's watching this, can get involved with what you're working on and find out more about what you do. So Said, we can't hear you, brother. Technical difficulties. There we go. Much better, much better. I can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm working on my blog right now. It's called Evolved Writing. I'll put this up here so everyone can see it.
Beautiful. Evolvedwriting.com.
Evolvedwriting.com, right. Evolvedwriting.com, where I'll be talking about systems, mindsets, and strategies that people can use to level up their life. So I'll be talking about different aspects, things like how to make goals or how to tackle goals, how to figure out what you want to do in life. And for people watching this, how to overcome resistance to building an email list, for example. So I think this will be interesting, and especially after my conversations with Mark, he's working on so many exciting things. I'm even more motivated to be working on this blog.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Said. I appreciate you being on the show and adding your value tips and obviously allowing people to see that it is possible to build an email list very quickly. The one takeaway, again, guys, everyone listening, all of my abundant warriors, don't get discouraged. You don't necessarily have to build an email list from 0 to 10,000 subscribers. It's possible in 6 months. But what I'm going to encourage you to do is basically look for quality. And the ways that we've described are good ways to start quality, especially if you're a new entrepreneur, you're that new online startup. You're that 9-to-5er that's looking to jump ship and start their own business, but just needs to know where to start. These are two very good strategies that you can apply. So I just want to make a plug before I give you the homework, what you guys can do next. So if you're watching this on Google right now, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And you'll get an email every single week that will update you on next week's topic. And just to let you know, next week's talk, and we're talking about health strategies that successful entrepreneurs use to enable their business to a higher level, to actually impact the bottom line. So you're going to want to turn in next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time so that you can get plugged in and get access to all that information. But the next thing you're going to want to do is, if you're on the website, which is my website here, is marcgaudett.com. So that's at Marc with a C. Gaudett is Gaudett.com. You're going to be able to subscribe right there. You can fill out your name and your email address, and I'll email you every week on the topic as well as who the guests are, so that you can stay plugged in and attend whatever works for you. And remember, it doesn't matter if you can't make it live, because I record these, and you'll be able to listen in and get the information you need at any time, so that you can stay inspired with the specific belief systems, seeing what's possible by my guests. You can stay empowered with specific how-tos and strategies that you can leave the show with, so that you can live your life and that I can live my life, and everyone, all of us, can live our life and run our business from a place of freedom. So I want you guys to stay in there. And now I'm going to give you your homework, okay? So your homework is, I actually wrote it down. I want you, before you even try one of these strategies, I want you to understand and get an idea of why you want to have an email list, okay? Why do you want it? Is it to build? Is it because you're having a new project that you're launching, a new webinar coming up? Is it because you see yourself 6 months down the road as an author launching a book and you want to stay in connection with your tribe and start building your tribe now? Is it because you want to sell a product that you think is going to add a lot of value to people, but you need an email list and a tribe that you can start selling it to? So come up with that reason why. Otherwise, this is not going to work. And then two, right? The second thing you're going to do is you're going to pick a target. So pick a target. What could you do that would prove to you that these strategies work and that would give you momentum? And the way that you do that, the way that you do that is by identifying a target. So is it 100? Is it your first 100 subscribers? Is it 500? Is it 1,000? It doesn't have to be 10,000, but what's your original target? So that once you've reached, you can give yourself a pat on the back and say yes, that you've achieved your first level of success, and that will motivate you to keep going to the next level. And the third thing is, I want you to pick one strategy, okay? One strategy that we talked about. So whether that strategy is going on social media and starting with your friends and family, or whether that strategy is starting at work, passing a clipboard that's for people that are interested in whatever topic that you want to talk about, or whether that strategy is emailing, contacting blog owners that are specific to your niche, that already have a list to offer your services or your free offer, or to write a guest post for them, so that you can start leveraging their list to build your own list. So remember, pick one strategy and start with why you want to do it. Pick your target for your first level of success, and then implement one strategy. Remember, speed of implementation is important. And I'm going to write that down because I talk about that all the time. Speed of implementation. And what this means, speed of implementation. What that means is applying something as soon as you learn it, even if it's one thing, because the reality is you're going to be more committed to the strategies you've learned right now if you apply one thing, even if it's sending off one email to one blog owner. And the real power in these shows is helping you to take action with one or two of these strategies. So I've been applying this in my life, and my life has been taking off. In fact, that's why I have a website that you can go and visit today. That was my first block. I couldn't get over that website thing, but I had to start one step at a time. Contact someone that could help me with my website. What's one thing that I want to be on my website, and just start building it out from there. So speed of implementation, as with everything, is going to lead to your success. So I love each and every one of you. Tune in for next week, and like, comment, share on the video here, and you'll be updated every single week on the topic that we're going to be doing, so that you can stay inspired, empowered, and operating from a place of freedom. Saeed, thank you once again for sharing your wealth of knowledge, and we look forward to checking out our next hangout with you next week. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Take care.